previously said on Air Force One that there are 4 bidders thus far, groups of bidders. This would be a 5th. It's interesting, New York Times reporting that this came in the form of a letter to Vice President Vance, who we understand is sort of leading the charge here in the negotiations, plus also Commerce Secretary Lutnick. And what's interesting in the New York Times piece is they say Amazon's bid, various parties involved in the talks do not appear to be taking it seriously. Now, we don't know why they wouldn't be taking it seriously. Maybe it's a price point that they reference, but ultimately there are some serious bids out there. We just had one of them come on the show. Frank McCourt Jr. has been in there from the start. He doesn't want the Chinese algorithm. He wants just TikTok, the user base, and wants to develop an entirely new underlying decentralized model. He's in with a bid with Alexis Ohanian. Jesse Tinsley is another person, another entrepreneur who's joined our show, saying he'd be interested in it. And he's got the CEO of Roblox, he's told us at least, interested in that bid as well. Then there's, of course, what's currently being negotiated on Capitol Hill right here, right now. We understand that today President Trump will take a meeting around a potential deal with Blackstone in the mix. We understand with Oracle leading the charge in terms of an investment in US-based TikTok, but also it would provide the security, the infrastructure that it still does. There's even Andreessen Horowitz being reported by Reuters as being involved in that bid. It is a fluid situation, but it seems as though President Trump and Vice President Vance are looking at this from a more diplomatic situation. What does it mean for the future relationship with China? How can they get China to agree to give over the asset? And many say that's without the algorithm. So that's what this Oracle offer would be.
So do we have any idea what the sweetener would be, what a winning bid might put forward in order to actually gain the asset?
Well, it's the price point. Now, we had Frank McCourt Jr. say he's offering $20 billion, but he doesn't want the underlying algorithm. But there's been price points all the way up to $150 billion for this asset if it did include the algorithm. So price is going to be one. But ultimately, this is about getting ByteDance's founder on board, Chinese government on board, but also Congress on board. This, from a bipartisan nature, has been agreed on by the House and by the Senate and by Congress more broadly that they do not want TikTok to operate in the United States as it stands with a Chinese algorithm. Can a deal formulated with Oracle in some way taking a small chunk of the overall ownership, other investors who are already in the deal, for example, there might still be General Atlantic, which is involved and backing ByteDance, so too is Susquehanna. If they stay involved, would that really satiate the law? Because if you still have the Chinese algorithm, is there still a risk of US data? That is the key question, I think.
Seems if we wait long enough, there will even be more bidders, right? Is there a deadline, Karen?
Yes.
A hard and fast deadline?
Maybe not hard, maybe not fast. In theory, April the 5th. This is why it's such a last-minute offer coming from Amazon, because it was until Saturday. But we've just had Frank McCourt Jr. say he thinks it's going to be pushed back. It'd be very extreme to see that a deal would suddenly come up to the wire like this. And President Trump himself has said he might just push it back, kick the can a little bit further. He's done it once. Remember, it was January the 19th, but push back to April the 5th. It could move again, but certainly it's coming under fire right now. We seem to be getting closer.
Yeah, and as we know, it's an extraordinarily busy week. So
yes.
perhaps
It's not as though they have anything else to do.
Exactly. Is there any consideration of Chinese input here and Chinese, opinions on the matter?
Very much so. And I think this is why you've certainly heard from President Trump and the idea that this can be some sort of trade negotiating tactic. He's saying maybe if we do a deal on TikTok, we'll be able to reduce tariffs on China. This has become a geopolitical football. It always was. But remember, we've also had President Trump himself say how much he likes the social media offering. He felt that in many ways it helped him with his own campaign and energized the voter base. And he had Shou Chew, the CEO of TikTok, at his own inauguration. So this has become very much political, as well as, of course, what's happening in terms of the actual asset.
Well, as an immediate reaction, shareholders don't seem to be displeased. The stock is up 1.25%, bouncing there off flat. Caroline Hyde, thank you so much. Caroline is anchor of Bloomberg Technology.
So Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he said, hey, let me put my bid there and see how we work and see if we can, get a deal done by the end of Saturday, which, Trump is planning to ban it. Or, Trump might sit in again of seeing people get more buyers, but we never know. But go ahead, Rodney. What's your take on Amazon putting in a bid for buying TikTok?
And now, but Jordan, this is also breaking news. It is another buyer. Now, OnlyFans owner is trying to acquire TikTok as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's a 6th buyer. So right now, TikTok is very, very critical. A lot of people are wondering which one is going to be the one to buy it. I'm being honest. I think Amazon is going to be the one to close the deal. This is a great opportunity for Amazon because you know why Amazon has already conquered when it comes to the aspect of merchandise. You know, you see they conquer the retail world. They're trying to conquer it all. So them acquiring TikTok is going to be actually good because now guess what? They're going to infiltrate some of their feature onto TikTok and make TikTok even more better than what it is now. And now it's going to be actually good for people that are trying to sell their product on TikTok. Because some people say it was very hard to sell certain product on TikTok. Now, if Amazon is able to acquire that, it would pretty much they'll be more easier for people that are trying to sell their product on TikTok. So, the deadline ends pretty much Saturday. So let's see, April 5th. If not, once again, TikTok gonna be bye-bye, and you're gonna hear Donald Trump say, no, that's extended for another 90 days. Go right ahead, Akeem, your comment.
So everybody else who I heard who put a bid in didn't make sense. But Amazon makes a whole lot of sense. And I want people to grasp this. And I want to give it to you from Amazon is the largest online e-commerce retailer. Number one. Second is Walmart. The biggest thing on TikTok is the TikTok shop. If Amazon was to acquire TikTok, they acquire the millions and billions of dollars on the TikTok shop and people who are sold. Imagine TikTok shop and Amazon cross being together. So when you sell your stuff on TikTok shop, you also sell your stuff on Amazon. This is huge, but it's also going to be negative too. Products that do not align with Amazon would not be able on that. They're very strict about these type of things. Ronnie knows. You see what I'm trying to say? So this deal is going to make Amazon one of the most, it's going to be a conglomerate after this. There's no more winning. Walmart, Target, you name it, eBay, they're not going to be able to compete if they get TikTok. They get TikTok, and I believe there is, because our beloved boy, Jeff Bezos and Trump are like this. He was at the inauguration. He has donated money. Nobody has hearing anybody talk about tariffs affecting Amazon. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said a word. Stay key to that.
And the thing is, it's like we see one billionaire, who's in there with Elon Musk. He has a position there. He's talking, and people don't like his political views. When it comes to Jeff Bezos, you don't hear anything from him. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me good?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But because I thought about saying what's going on. But Jeff Bezos, he's been quiet. Ever since we saw the inauguration of him and Trump and everything, he has been quiet. Not giving political views, but you see how he is affecting Elon Musk and everything with the stocks and everything. But when it comes to Jeff Bezos, if he could get TikTok. Because everybody loves TikTok. Everybody loves TikTok. People make their money on TikTok. If he could record TikTok, this will definitely be a game world changer here. Because what other company can compete with Amazon? Because you when it comes to e-commerce, when it comes to streaming, Amazon Prime, this everything that Amazon does. And then you add TikTok with that. That to me, that's just scary. Amazon will completely change the game if they can find a way to acquire TikTok. But like I said, there's still more buyers bids out there. There's still plenty more bids that put that bidding out there. And I'm just very, very interested of who's going to buy TikTok, because we've been talking about this for months now. And we just want to know who's going to buy TikTok. If it's not Amazon, okay, fine. It might be somebody else, but it's just going to be very, very scary for some people. But it's going to be very, very, very super big news. And if Amazon buys TikTok, because this will be one of the deals of the you say the decade or the century or the millennium, because if Amazon buys TikTok, this could change a whole lot of things. So we're just gonna see if it's gonna happen by Saturday, or if Trump, we'll push it again another 30 days or something like that, or somebody to buy TikTok. But yeah, this is gonna be big if Amazon buys it.
And then people don't realize this is